Welcome into the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Chris Yao. And as we said, it's Monday. Unless you're a NASCAR fan, in which case it's Sunday.
Exactly. It's a weird day today. It has been a weird day all day today. But you know, it's rare that in the middle of our show does a major sporting event actually take place. Because I mean, Monday
But if it
between 2
were
and
to ever
4.
happen, it's going to be in the middle of our show.
Yeah, of course, it would never. Yeah, it would never happen. You know, right after or at 9 o'clock in the morning or something. That would just be too much to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So, around 3 p.m. today, we'll hear those vaunted words.
Gentlemen?
Drivers.
Drivers start your engine.
Yeah.
There you go. It makes sense. I was going to ask if
yeah, that
what
changed.
the makeup of the field was.
Well, I think it's all men this year, but they just went ahead and did drivers.
Better safe than sorry.
And so, yeah, and we'll hear those words, and they'll drop the green flag, and about 2.5, 3 hours later, we'll see a checkered flag, and then they'll run the
Weather permitting?
Well, I think the weather's good to go. It's so crazy. Did you see the radar yesterday of the United States?
No, was it one big blob?
It was a line of storms right over that part of, like, literally north of Tampa, south of Jacksonville. That was it. The entire country dry. It's like, if you want to know where they're racing, just look at a map and we'll see where the rain is.
God's not a NASCAR fan?
He must have just wanted one more day of anticipation. So things are looking good for today. What I wish they would have pushed it to, Monday Night NASCAR under the lights in Daytona on President's Day. That just seems like a perfect thing to do, but instead they're going to run it in the daytime, which, I mean, again, it's typically a daytime race.
But it's in the daytime. Will it extend into?
It probably will.
Will they turn the lights on?
Oh yeah.
By the time it's over.
The finish may be under the lights, which will be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they're going to run the Xfinity race tonight.
I thought they were running Xfinity this morning. Did they not?
They ran trucks, and then one of the jet dryers crashed on the track for the second time.
Maybe they're asking those jet dryers to do a little too much.
One of my friends said, if I had a nickel for every time a jet dryer crashed on Daytona after a weather delay, I'd have 2 nickels, but it is weird that it happened twice. So it's an interesting Monday, man. It's been Monday for a lot of folks in a lot of places. But we're gonna turn the tide.
Works for me. We got some great guests, a couple of great guests. We're looking forward to speaking with John PERROTTO, who is in his first day with Heavy.com.
Oh, wow.
Which is I don't know if it's a budding sports website.
They have had a Twitter presence since 2012, I believe.
Okay, that's not exactly budding.
No, Heavy on Sports. In 2009, they joined Twitter. Now, I don't know if they've always been at Heavy on Sports, or if it's, if this is just somebody's blog that made a little money. This could have been Jim Bob's sports blog in 2009 that has transformed. But yeah, they've been on Twitter since 2009. So, well, I don't know how long they've been Heavy or whatever, but
he ain't heavy. Yeah, John PERROTTO is going to talk to us a little about free agency, because as pitchers and catchers reported across Florida and Arizona last week, there are still a lot of guys yet to join teams. One local one that I'm concerned about in particular. But we'll talk to John about that. We will also talk to John, as we like to do whenever we talk Major League Baseball, about the Oakland Athletics. So
the Athletics, the Athletic Baseball Club, ABC.
That green and gold team that has played on the West Coast for 6 decades. Yeah, where are they going to be next? So we'll be checking in with John on some of that. In the next segment, we will speak with friend of the show, JAMESETTA Cleveland of Sports Mom U, getting some insight on NIL, always a fascinating world there, and how it's threatening to impact, kids trying to get to the collegiate level. So she's got a lot of insight on that. Looking forward to hearing from her on that. Again, it's the Monday Mirror. We will have our MON-STARS, our top performers from the weekend. And what else have we got? Going to talk a little college hoops. Plenty to talk about there. Already touched on the Daytona 500. College baseball opened this weekend across the country, and we had a couple of locals that had some particularly good weekends that we want to mention here. So we'll get into that later in the show.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk college baseball because it's with talking to JAMESETTA about NIL and then transfer portals and all of the things. And I don't know if you have gotten Craig Pinkerton's emails about SEC baseball co-players of the week, but there's an interesting name on there, and we'll talk about that. I'm excited.
All right, sounds good. I have not gotten that email. I guess I'm being boycotted by
Well, I haven't either,
Conference,
but I did get it. I got a Tennessee release, but
you got a release from Tennessee? Mm-hmm. I bet there's somebody that doesn't know it.
there's no doubt. Oh man,
because you'd be erased from that distribution list. But anyway, let's, before we get much further off the rails, try to get back on them and give
Monday,
you
man.
all.
Come
on. Well, yeah, we kind of started off the rails, huh? Give you this weekend's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call today at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose, and the Ladybug is back.
Yes, we have had 5 or 6 of them today. I had a family in the other room when I was there this morning, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, if they're supposed to be lucky, I'm good.
We're in good shape for today, there's no question.
Okay.
Friday, girls basketball action, Cookeville 63, Wilson Central 47. Sycamore edging Creekwood 36-35. Moore County down Eagleville 40-37. It was Fairview 65, Montgomery Central 18. Good Pasture down Franklin Road Academy 48-39. Webb School was a 55-32 winner over Harpeth Hall. Houston County down to Hall Rock Brewston 59-37. They said, we don't care about your NFL, Pro Football Hall of Fame, anything. Just, we're going to beat you. We don't care.
Patrick Willis ain't walking through that door.
Exactly.
And he certainly ain't suiting up for y'all. So,
Hillsborough down to John Overton 64-37. Murfreesboro Central edging Lawrence County 41-39. Lawson Falls to Valor Collegiate 37-32. And Lebanon down Stewart's Creek 44-40. Westmoreland 33. Liberty Creek 26. Maplewood 58-53 winners over Hume Fogg. It was Cane Ridge 57. McGavick 38. Joe Burns downs Merrill Hyde 64-25. Providence Christian a 50-35 winner over Ezo Harding in Trousdale County. Downs White House Heritage 41-32.
on Saturday, it was Nolensville defeating Brentwood girls 41-32. Cheatham County with a 44-37 win over East Hickman. Lincoln County 58, Columbia Central 39. Franklin Road Academy defeated Ezo Harding 55-35. Beach with a 54-25 win over Gallatin. Hendersonville down Green Hill 26-21. Harpeth Hall with a 45-39 win over Father Ryan. Harpeth defeated Hickman County 56-44. Hillsborough with a 52-32 win over Cane Ridge. It was East Robertson 78, Joe Burns 43. Overton with a 59-38 win over McGavick. Lewis County with a 30-3 run to close the game defeated Mount Pleasant 49-39. Loretto with a 59-50 win over Summertown. Portland defeated Macon County 34-27. It was Blackman 45, Oakland 43. Page edged Independence 39-35. Good Pasture defeated Providence Christian 67-57. Rockvale 70, Riverdale 34, and Highland Rim 43, Zion Christian 31.
Boys action on Friday, Cane Ridge down Antioch 61-48. Blackman edged Rockville 50-48. It was Rossview 70, Clarksville 33. Webb School with a big win over Columbia Academy 66-58, much to the chagrin of my partner here. Richland Downs Cornersville 62-35. Brentwood Academy 81-68 winners over CPA. Finally, someone gets the Lions. They were on a roll there for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Kenwood Downs Dixon County 61-58. It was McKenzie 40, Houston County 31. Hume Fogg 66-41 winners over Glencliff. Knowledge Academy is falling to Joe Burns 70-58. Hillsboro with a 68-44 win over John Overton. Kirkwood 70, Springfield 54. It was Lawrence County 49, Tullahoma 34. Lawson Downs Martin Luther King 48-37, and Murfreesboro Central was a 73-61 winner over Marshall County. East Robertson down Merrill Hyde 56-40. Siegel 56, Oakland 40. Oh, same score. Interesting. Providence Christian 80, Good Pasture 65, and Santa Fe down Culleoka 59-46. How many points for Alden in that one? I think it was 37.
I don't know.
I think it was 37.
I don't know.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
It is.
You would think, anyway.
On Saturday, Hillsboro defeated Edge, Cane Ridge 55-54. Harpeth with a 49-40 win over Cheatham County. Columbia Academy bounced back from that Friday night loss, took a little extra time.
A little extra time.
2 overtimes, actually. Defeated Good Pasture 90-86. Cookville with a 64-45 win over Wilson Central. Christ Presbyterian bounced back as well with a 60-55 win over Innsworth. Creekwood edged Fairview 47-45. Eagleville with a 64-46 win over Chris Murdoch's Fayetteville Tigers. Joe Burns 57, East Robertson 49. Brentwood with a 46-35 win over Franklin in the latest edition of the oldest rivalry in Williamson County. Hendersonville 59, Gallatin 46. Green Hill defeated Beach 54-49. Antioch downed Overton 66-57. Laverne 53, Lebanon 51. White House Heritage 49. Liberty Creek 48. Summertown.
My goodness. Talk about the Eagles.
57. Loretto 52. Merrill High with a 52-51 win over Knowledge Academies. Sycamore defeated Montgomery Central 59-48. Mount Pleasant with a 79-65 win over Lewis County. Pope Prep 85, Brentwood 76. Providence Christian defeated Webb School 48-40. Independence with a 56-52 win over Ravenwood. It was Oakland 64, Rockvale 61. Blackman defeated Siegel 49-37. Station Camp over Greenbrier 50-40. Columbia Central with a 54-36 win over Warren County. Westmoreland 55, Trousdale County 51, and White House defeated Portland 58-56.
Men's basketball action on Saturday. Western Illinois and the Leathernecks with a 68-61 win over Tennessee State. Lipscomb defeats Central Arkansas 85-68. Vols, no problem.
None.
With the Commodores. 88-53 the final there against Vanderbilt.
14 threes will do that.
Yeah, well. And the ride continues. 7 of 8 now?
No.
Still
5
6
of
of 7.
7, I think.
Oh, is it? I thought it was, okay.
I may have to go, I'll go back and look.
It's
another one. 3 straight.
MTSU said
Rumors of
my demise have been greatly exaggerated. 96-90. Took 2 overtimes, but they get UTEP at home.
I don't think this is the last time we'll be mentioned in this game.
No.
In today's show.
No. Austin P 87, Tuna 79. Bethel Downs Cumberland 77-75. Fisk goes to New Orleans, gets SUNO 79-76. Trevecca 94-85 winners over Tiffin. And Loyola of New Orleans took full advantage of the Firehawks being head coachless with a 70-63 win over UT Southern. That's 2 losses in a row for the once 10th ranked Firehawks. We'll see how they bounce back as conference tournament play begins. On Sunday, Belmont getting back on track as they are fully healthy with a 75-60 win over Illinois Chicago.
It's funny how that works.
Healthy, man.
Yeah.
Just being healthy.
Yep. Women's basketball over the weekend. On Saturday, Tennessee State dealt Western Illinois an 84-71 defeat. Austin Peay with a 73-60 win over Lipscomb. Middle Tennessee State women out in the West Texas town of El Paso defeated UTEP 56-41. Drake with a 77-71 win over Belmont. Cumberland 67, Bethel 64. Fisk 87, Southern of New Orleans 70. Trevecca defeated Tiffin 85-44, and Loyola of Louisiana with an 81-52 win over UT Southern. On Sunday, Tennessee with no problem at Vanderbilt 86-61. In the All-Star game last night, 397 points. The East with a 211-186 win over the West. And on the ice, the Predators with a much-needed victory at St. Louis, 5-2. 5 different people scored for the Preds. And
maybe they should practice hard the day before games more often.
Take out their frustrations on somebody other than the coach after that?
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Tonight, girls basketball. These are district finals or consolation games.
I would say the early games are one and the late games are the other.
That's most likely. West Creek is at Clarksville Northwest at 6. Also at 6, Shelbyville takes on Columbia Central at Coffee County in Manchester. Green Hill is at Gallatin. Watertown has got Jackson County. Hume-Fogg takes on Lawson. Marshall County and Lawrence County at Tullahoma? No.
Marshall County.
At Marshall County? Okay. Well, that's weird then. Why does it not just say at? Anyway, Lawrence County is at Marshall County. Culleoka has Santa Fe.
At Cornersville.
At Cornersville, that's right. Kirkwood and Springfield. Macon County and Station Camp. Stewart's Creek Wilson Central at 7:15. These are championship games. It's Rossview and Clarksville at 7:30. Richland is at Cornersville Beach and Hendersonville. Dixon County, Henry County, Lebanon.
Whoa.
Lebanon takes on Lebanon.
Lebanon versus Lebanon, split squad.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Nolensville is at Page. White House takes on Portland. Murfreesboro Central has Tullahoma. That one is at Marshall County. And Maplewood Valor Collegiate at 7:30. And that, folks, is your rundown.
Today's top story, as always, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly here at Neely's Mill in Columbia. Be sure and get through there for their delicious daily deli lunch options, meat and threes, and the cobblers are out of this world. I had the cherry a couple of days ago. Chef's kiss. Also, hand-cut meats and everything is cost plus 10% at the register at Piggly Wiggly in Neely's Mill here in Columbia. We mentioned that National Basketball Association All-Star game with the East defeating the West 211-186. And I've not read this article, but the headline pretty well says it all. NBA's All-Star game has become unwatchable, and it might be unfixable. The players simply don't care, and beyond that, don't want to get hurt. Now, I mean, I don't know that I can necessarily blame them for that, not wanting to get hurt in a mid-season exhibition game. But I don't know why.
Why play?
Why?
Listen, the NHL may have figured this out.
What, go to a series of
Well,
3-on-3 games?
It's skill.
or
It's
something?
a skill event, and I saw someone, I don't remember which player it was, said adding one-on-one games would be a one-on-one tournament would be cool because they play a lot of one-on-one in the off season and stuff. So that would be awesome.
I wonder if a 3-on-3.
A 3-on-3 would be
Tournament.
fantastic. Give me a 1-on-1, give me a 3-on-3, or NBA Jam style 2-on-2. You just where it's Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen for the Chicago Bulls because nobody could get Michael Jordan's rights. But I mean, anything that other than this. This is not, and the dunk contest is meh, even though, Mac with a back-to-back win was awesome, great for him. But I mean, it's just not fun to watch. I would absolutely watch a one-on-one tournament, even a 3-on-3, but one-on-one, heck yes.
Yeah, a tournament. Well, and the thing is, the guys are going to play in a one-on-one tournament because they're playing for personal pride.
It's pride.
At that point.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And I would be all for that. Please and thank you.
168 three-point attempts.
How?
And nobody was going inside. They were coming across half court. I assume. I don't know. I didn't watch.
No, I can't watch it.
No.
In a 48-minute game? 100 and what?
68
That is 4
per minute.
ish a minute.
A little under.
That's
But a solid 3.
That's absurd. That's absurd. I mean, just have a 3-point shooting contest. The best part of the weekend was the Ionescu Steph Curry event. That was the best part of the weekend. There was drama. It was fun. Everybody wanted to see it, and it delivered. Nothing else about the weekend delivered.
The fact
Other
that
than
the
Charles
West,
Barkley.
Oh well, Charles always delivers.
When does he not?
The fact that the West made just 35% of its threes is actually the most laughable part, according to this CBS Sports article that I am cribbing from by Brad Botkin. But, yeah, I don't know. Here's the problem. You can play 1-on-1 or 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, but unless players care enough to truly compete, the game is going to stink.
I'm telling you, 1-on-1, they're going to play.
Yeah, I think they're going to care about 1-on-1. Anthony Edwards, for me, it's an all-star game, so I don't think I will ever look at it like being super competitive. It's always fun. I don't know what they can do to make it more competitive. It's a break. I don't think nobody wants to come here and compete. Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know how you fix it. I really don't.
I don't think you can. I mean,
But something has got to be done. And if you are
just
in the NBA C-suites, you've got to address this because it is unwatchable. I don't think they're going to like whatever the ratings were for it.
NBA ratings haven't been great for a while now.
But I'm sure they were even worse.
But this, yeah, I mean, it's, and here's the thing, there was nothing else on.
Not a thing.
Nothing.
Not a thing.
But at 7 o'clock on Sunday night, I was watching Hometown. I was definitely not watching the NBA All-Star game.
I was watching Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, HGTV or something.
Yeah.
Literally anything but.
And I knew the game was on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Had zero care to watch it. Anyway.
yeah, it's, again, it's unfortunate, and they got to do something about it.
What that is?
I don't know what that is. Real quick, as long as we are on the NBA.
Your boy Wade Neely had Damian Lillard to win All-Star Game MVP.
At what?
With $10, he won 120.
All right. What prompted him to go with Dame?
I don't know, but it worked.
Clearly. There you go. So dinner's on Wade when we get up to you.
There you go.
When we go to Champions in Murfreesboro here in a couple of weeks, crawfish and beverages on you, Wade. Mm-hmm. Again, as long as we're on NBA, the Brooklyn Nets concluded their pre-All-Star break schedule with a 136-86 loss at Boston, falling to 21-33. That was on Valentine's Day. It was on Wednesday. This morning, the Brooklyn Nets announced that Jacques Vaughn has been fired.
I mean, it is odd timing.
It's very odd.
You could have done it on Friday.
You could have done it on Friday. You could have done it on Thursday. I mean, if you felt like that was what you needed to do, you could have, gotten some things in a row during this break rather than coming back out of the break and then doing it. I don't know. As the Athletic says, the timing is certainly a surprise. Objectively, they're not having a bad season. They're 21-33, but they're only 2.5 games behind the Hawks for the number 10 seed. So the play-in tournament is still a thing.
There you go.
But apparently he has lost market share in the locker room. Something he and Adrian Griffin can discuss, I guess. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go in because they've not named an interim coach yet, and they play again Thursday at Toronto. So I guess they got a little time. I don't know.
Well, interim coaches. We'll talk about that
We
later.
will talk about interim coaches here later in the show. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, though, we will be talking to JAMESETTA Cleveland of Sports Mom U, picking her brain on some NIL and the ever-developing effects thereof. So come back to the Lee Company studio with Chris and I here after this break.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Your favorite wine tasting experience is back. The Hendersonville Rotary Club's Wine and Roses Fundraising Gala. Everything you loved and more. Saturday, March the 2nd. Prepare your taste buds for elegant wines, smooth whiskeys, craft beers, and exceptional food. Browse through the silent auction, all to benefit over 25 local charities, schools, and scholarships. Wine and Roses, Saturday, March the 2nd at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church, Hendersonville. HendersonvilleRotary.org.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back to the Lee Company Studios for the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. That's Chris Yao. I'm Maurice Patton. Joining us now is the founder of Sports Mom U, JAMESETTA Cleveland. Ms. Cleveland, good afternoon.
Oh, she's
We
muted.
can't hear you.
Good afternoon. How's
There
it going?
we go. It's better now that you're not on mute.
Technology sometimes.
It's beautiful when it works, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking some time with us this afternoon. You know, you had posted something specifically on on Facebook last night, right before I reached out and asked you if you would be available to come on with us today. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world of college athletics and NIL and transfer portal and everything like that. And in your position, again, as founder of Sports Mom, you are right on top of all of that stuff, trying to keep athletes and their parents informed on the ever-evolving world thereof. And I'm trying to find that specific post that prompted me to reach out to you. And you have got so much on your Facebook that I can't find it. But
I think it's the one about sanctions. There's a class, a workshop I'm going to be doing, but it may have been the one where I was telling parents about the NIL related sanctions that the NCAA is sort of.
It is. Miami's women's basketball program recently received 1 year probation. Florida State's received 2 years worth of sanctions. Obviously, Tennessee's and Virginia's attorneys generals are taking on the NCAA in court. And so, again, on March 10th, JAMESETTA and Sports Mom U will be hosting a virtual workshop for high school and college families to help you understand how to protect your child and avoid NIL-related violations during the recruiting process. Quote, "We've worked too hard to let bad advice ruin our children's futures." So if you are within the sound of our voice and you fall in that category of a high school or college athletic family, just needing a little guidance or just needing to make sure you're on top of things, check this out. Find JAMESETTA on X at sports_mom_u. She's a world of information. And JAMESETTA, what is your biggest concern right now?
A couple of things, and they're equal. One is parents, athletes, coaches, even people who testify before Congress, they really don't understand what name, image, and likeness truly is. They have actually just gone for what I call legalized inducements, but they really don't understand what name, image, and likeness really is. And as a result, Most athletes are just simply looking for a deal. They're not understanding the true value or what they really should be doing. And because they don't understand, the other thing, which is of equal concern, is they don't seem to understand. And when I say they, it's coaches, even the chancellor of UT, her response to the NCAA, that name, image, and likeness activities don't happen in a vacuum. They happen in a legal and statutory hierarchy. And you need to, families, coaches, school administrators, athletes in particular, need to understand the legal and the statutory hierarchy that their activity is taking place in, because a lot of them fail to understand, and because they fail to understand, they're making some very avoidable mistakes.
Avoidable mistakes being the key phrase.
Well, and, I think one of the problems that we have in this is exactly what you said, in that the kids don't understand what NIL is supposed to be, and they start talking to these coaches who have no shame in their game or whatever, and the coaches they just go along with it because they think that's what the kid wants, instead of educating the kid on how that works. They just say, yeah, we got you. And that's how Florida situations end up happening.
You are very generous in saying that the coaches understand, because they don't. And here is a very good example of how cumulatively they don't understand. Anytime somebody says NIL has been around for a long time, it's just legal now, that's a really quick way to know they don't understand.
They don't know what they're talking about.
They know inducements. But look at what's happening with EA Sports. The thought process that athletes should get no money, or they should have been grateful for $500, or even athletes saying, I just want to be in the game for free. That's like across the board a fundamental lack of understanding of what really got us here, and what you can't do. So it's really interesting to see that. And what I find is that very few coaches are actually pushing back and saying, hey, if you ask me for $1,000 or $5,000, that's an inducement. We can't have a conversation, because by continuing the conversation, I'm in trouble and you're in trouble. I haven't seen that happen. I've seen a lot of people entertaining conversations.
I want to go to a video, and I don't know if you've seen it, from Deion Sanders, who was looked like a classroom setting, where he was talking about, NIL and what it was supposed to be. And he said, how many kids have you seen in commercials? And I understand that he lives in a different world than literally every other person on the planet in college sports. But to his point there, he's right, and ironically, Deion may be one of the only people who understands NIL.
But he's still not in application. Like the first question, he's teaching a class, mind you. But the first question,
okay.
he has at Colorado this semester, he's actually Professor Sanders. He's teaching a class.
Dr. Deion. Okay.
It's really interesting, because in my world, name, image, and likeness has 3 applications. There are the businesses that are based on athletes, like your EA Sports, like your TV rights. There are the businesses that athletes can start, because now they can freely start businesses, whereas before they could not. And there's what everyone talks about, the business partnerships. It's really interesting that Deion Sanders has led with entrepreneurship. He owns an entertainment company. He's not taking pictures for just to be likes. That's money attached to it. But what I don't see is, by and large, the conversation didn't start with entrepreneurship. It started with, well, how can you be the face of a brand? And truly, if you start with entrepreneurship, it allows athletes to understand, how do you get to be the face of a brand? What do you bring to the table? Because it has to be more than social media followers and your name being called on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. NIL is, and breaking it down into those three categories is really important for even me, because, you know, I don't necessarily think about them starting a business and being able to utilize their name, image, and likeness to create that business and that brand. But the easiest way to become the face of a brand is to just start the brand, isn't it?
Yeah, make it your brand.
Just start the brand.
Yeah,
We're all brands by default.
That's right.
If you're a college student or a high school student where name, image, and likeness is available, you don't have to do anything. You're an independent contractor. Realtors are, you know, just like a realtor or an independent insurance agent, like you are a business right now. You don't have to be an LLC. And this is the thing that makes me so frustrated about the current landscape. Very little is talked about entrepreneurship. Even the fact that, hey, right now, you can actually go pursue something even simple like training. Everybody wants to be you because you made it to college. Why don't you just do something simple? Start talking about how you got to where you are. You can use Zoom, it's free. Charge people $25 a month to, like, you want to learn the world of recruiting? I got you. I'm living it. So very, very, very little things that everyone can do at every level, and you don't have to be a big name to do it. Um, the thing that irks me the most is the lack of actionable, practical education that's given to athletes.
JAMESETTA Cleveland of Sports Mom U joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. JAMESETTA, the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association approved NIL about 14 months ago, I guess. What are you seeing with high school NIL here in Tennessee? Are you seeing that? Are you hearing those conversations? What's taking place with that?
Honestly, with the exception of a couple of schools, I'm seeing the same conversations at high school that I'm seeing in college. You have to be a big name. I'm seeing inducements because, hey, I want to entice certain athletes to transfer. And part of it is because very few coaches come to the table and say, I want to learn. The majority of coaches at all levels are saying, well, this has already been around. They understand inducements. They understand pay per play. So of course, because that's what they quote unquote understand, and they haven't taken a real posture of, let me really learn. Let me go see, how did we get here? What was the O'Bannon decision about? People talk about Alston. Does it really impact NIL? Is it about NIL? Because there's not a posture of learning. High school coaches, they're really just replicating what they see in college. And it's really interesting because a lot of them say they take their cues from their friends who are in the college world, and they're just replicating the same thing. And that's what I'm seeing.
How are you being able to dissuade high school athletes and their families from falling victim to that? Are you having those conversations with that faction?
I have created an online community. I co-founded something called the Sports Family Network, which is an online community for the entire sports family. And then I run a moms only group that's called the Sports Mom University Community Group. So we are constantly having the conversation about the hierarchy. Okay, if you're going to do an activity, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking to them about. If you're going to do an activity, ask yourself, is there a federal law that impacts my activity? Is there a state law that impacts my activity? Is there an NCAA bylaw that impacts my activity? Or is there a high school association rule or bylaw that impacts my activity? And so we have education. I'm constantly teaching classes, at least, it used to be 4 times a month, but now it's twice a month, where we talk about what NIL really is, and we talk about hot topics. So in my community, we're having those conversations, and they're calling me to ask. I'm considering doing action A, and I just walk them through. Hey, here's our hierarchy. Let's go look. Is this applicable? And sometimes it's applicable, and it hurts because it's a nice chunk of change, but it's not the right thing to do. But sometimes it is the right thing to do. And so we have people in the community. I think probably the youngest person in the community I manage who has a name, image, and likeness deal is 10. She's in the Midwest. So, but we are consistently talking about the hierarchy. What do you want to do? Is there a rule against it? And if there is, how can you tweak your activity so that you fall within the published guidelines?
It's a lot more than people realize, isn't it?
A lot.
JAMESETTA Cleveland of Sports Mom U joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. JAMESETTA, tell people how they can find you, and again, inform them about your upcoming workshop that anybody that falls in that space needs to avail themselves of.
You can find me on the app formerly known as Twitter or X at sports_mom_you. I'm also on Threads and Instagram, the exact same title, sports_mom_you. You can also find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook business page. It's called Sports Mom University. And of course, as I stated before, I run a couple of Facebook groups for sports families where we have conversations like this almost every day. So if you look for the Sports Family Network, you'll be able to find me online. And the class is Sunday, March the 10th. It's called Protecting Your Athlete, Protecting Your Child, and it's open to every high school and college family that is considering playing their sport at the next level or transferring to a new school. We want to make sure that they understand the rules so they can preserve their eligibility.
It's a great thing you're doing. You've literally done it from the ground up. I know the background and what prompted you to get into this space, and really admire what you're doing, and wish more people would take advantage of the opportunities to learn from you on a lot of this stuff. JAMESETTA Cleveland, appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch.
Oh, can I do a shameless plug?
Please,
Always.
please.
So this Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, I am the director of a nonprofit called the Sports Philanthropy Network, and we are hosting our Black History Month celebration. It's called the Black Athlete Experience, and we're celebrating the stories of Black athletes who have attended predominantly white institutions and HBCUs. So it's free, it's online, and it's open to the public. I'll make sure you get the sign-in link. Would love to have anybody come and join the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am.
You
Great
guys have-
talking to you as always.
Yes, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Hey, when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA, it's MON-STARS. Chris and I will give you our top performers from the weekend. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Your favorite wine tasting experience is back. The Hendersonville Rotary Club's Wine and Roses Fundraising Gala. Everything you loved and more. Saturday, March the 2nd. Prepare your taste buds for elegant wines, smooth whiskeys, craft beers, and exceptional food. Browse through the silent auction, all to benefit over 25 local charities, schools, and scholarships. Wine and Roses, Saturday, March the 2nd at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church, Hendersonville. HendersonvilleRotary.org.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back to the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. I'm Maurice Patton, that's Chris Yao, and it's time for MON-STARS. Yeah. As we give you our top performers from the past weekend.
Can I cheat, please?
How so?
So, I didn't see this until literally yesterday at 9:43 a.m.
But
I have a MON-STAR that we absolutely have to recognize, but it's from last Saturday, so a week prior. But if we don't do this, then we have zero credibility in our lives.
well, as Ken Jeong would say, I'll allow it.
Thank you. Yeah, Taylor Chiric of Montana State. 45 points, 11 assists, 13 rebounds, and 14 steals. I don't know if you know what that is.
That's a quadruple.
That is a quadruple double. With 45 points. It wasn't like she scored 10. 45 points.
And a quadruple double.
And a quadruple double from Taylor Chiric of Montana State. I don't even care if they played air.
That's tough.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, she wouldn't have gotten that many steals if it was there.
Right.
But yeah.
I had to give her some love. So anyway.
She deserves it.
I was like, holy cow. When I saw the graphic, I thought, oh, this is the easy MON-STAR. And then I realized it was the Saturday before, and I was like, I got to bring it up at least.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it. My first MON-STAR did not have a quadruple double, but he did have a triple double with an injured finger. Jeremy Jackson, 30 points, 15 boards, 11 assists in Columbia Academy's 90-86 double overtime win in the D2A Middle Region consolation win over Goodpasture on Saturday, coming off that tough loss to Webb over at Middle Tennessee Christian in the semifinals. Junior point guard, wing, small forward, whatever you want him to be. And if you've not seen this kid play, you're cheating yourself.
He's a player for sure. All right, I'm gonna go to Monmouth. And I'm going to absolutely butcher this dude's name.
Well, at least you admit it on the front end.
Out of Kyiv, Ukraine.
Yeah, that kind of sets the tone for it.
Nikita
Okay.
Konstantinovsky. Konstantinovsky is what I'm going with here.
I think you should hold on to that and ask Chip about it tomorrow when we have him on.
He'll
'cause
have a much
he's got a
better
little bit
idea.
more experience with that kind of thing than we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's close enough.
So Nikita
Nikita.
averages
Nikki.
averages 9.4 and 7.6 points and rebounds a game. Well, in their 84-61 win over Stony Brook, he had 22 points and 20 boards. So giving him the old 2020.
The 2020, not
Which
just
is-
the double-double, but
Right.
the 2020.
And so you'll take that. So I'm going to give Nikita
Yeah, there you go.
Konstantinovsky, I think.
Hey, you got it on first reference. You can go Nikita from here on.
Yeah, we're going to go for Nikita from here on. So he is MON-STAR number 2, I guess.
Monmouth,
Yeah, Monmouth MON-STAR.
formerly coached by North Carolina point guard and ex-Vanderbilt assistant King Rice.
How
Yeah,
about that?
how about that? You knew this was going to be one of my MON-STARs.
I did.
MTSU's Justin Porter in the Blue Raiders 96-90 double overtime victory. I'm liking these double overtimes too. 96-90 double overtime win Saturday against visiting UTEP. Had a scoring performance that tied for the third most points in MTSU men's basketball history with 41, including 8 for 8 from behind the arc, 11 of 12 at the line. 41 points.
Was it, okay, I saw something where it was the most three-pointers made without a miss in Conference USA history?
I'm not sure if it was history.
Definitely this year.
I think it might have been this year. I don't know that it was history. Come on. He set a Conference USA record for most three-pointers in a game without missing. So that tells me history.
How about that?
Ever. How about that?
That's a heck of a, that's a heck of a job there to be third all time in points scored in MTSU history. Do we know who has the most?
We do now.
Oh,
We did not an hour ago.
That's great news.
Yeah, great success. So Justin Porter's 41 points ties Milton Dean, who had 41 points in January of '94 against Southeast Missouri State. The only two Blue Raiders who have scored more points than Justin Porter are Bob Burden, who had 43 against Lipscomb in December of 1959, and Mike Milholland, who had 44 against Austin Peay in January of '65. So it's kind of hard to believe Middle's only had 4 guys that have ever gone for 40 plus in a game, but Justin Porter is one of those 4.
That is definitely a surprise.
I'm gonna tell you, when you think about some of the guys and some of the scorers that have come through that program, it's really hard to believe. But congratulations to Justin Porter, who is, by the way, Conference USA's Player of the Week this
I'm
week.
surprised. Shocked. even.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to, I guess, women's basketball. Go to women's basketball.
Go ahead.
You know, a lot of times players on teams that aren't great will fold against teams like South Carolina or whatever. Not the case for Javen Nicholson, the senior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, who, again, I don't know if South Carolina's just bored and they're just, because again, they were down by 7 at halftime to Georgia. They were down 7. Come back and win by outscoring 22-9 in the third and 20-12 in the fourth. But Javen Nicholson had 27 and 12 for the Lady Dogs.
There you go.
So I want to give her some props just for stepping up against, obviously, the undisputed best team in the country.
Undisputed number one, absolutely. I'm going to go to the ice because Thursday, as we spoke with Ann Kimmel, we delved into whether or not UC Sorrow should be traded. UC must have heard us because in the Predators' 5-2 win at St. Louis on Saturday, 35 saves.
35 and gave up 2. We'll take it.
Take that every night. Absolutely. So,
and I don't know if you, speaking of, I guess Ann Kimmel had a story this weekend about the situation the Preds find themselves in with their goaltenders. So, certainly worth reading. We had the conversation about.
was that before or after?
After.
After UC's performance?
Oh, I don't know about before or after, but just basically, the 3 options they have, and talking about how well it worked the first time with UC and Pekka. So.
Right. Okay. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, we will be joined by Heavy.com's John Perrotto talking a little baseball. So stay with us. We'll be back here at the Lee Company Studios right after this.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic.
I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros.
Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY's gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No. No.
Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's not Reese Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
Because anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's just
you got that right, and
that's bottom line.
Be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball. There's a football. There's a baseball. Maybe if not a puck, how about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
The second hour of the Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. That's Chris Yao. I'm Maurice Patton, and really pleased to be joined now by Heavy.com's John Perrotto, talking a little baseball. John, where are you?
I am in a hotel room in beautiful Bradenton, Florida, wrapping up my trip to spring training, the Pittsburgh Pirates camp, among others, and getting ready to head back to the cold north tomorrow in Pittsburgh, and then hopefully coming back later in March for a little more warm weather and a little end of spring training.
Man, spring training, I'm a little jealous. Okay, I'm a lot jealous, but yeah, man, I love it. One of the reasons we wanted to reach out to you, John, was because we saw a list of guys who are not in spring training right now and don't know when they will be or who they'll be with. A lot of free agents. I mean, I don't know if it's a inordinate amount of free agents for this point in spring training, or maybe the caliber of guys. I mean, Cody Bellinger is still unsigned. Jordan Montgomery is still unsigned. Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, Adam Duvall, Mike Clevenger, J.D. Martinez, Tommy Pham.
The list goes on.
The list goes on. There's one guy of local interest. Tony Kemp is still not signed. I mean, is there anything going on that explains the number and quality of guys that are yet to sign?
I think with the big name guys, almost everyone you mentioned, you look at you look at Cody Bellinger, you look at Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, J.D. Martinez.
There's a common denominator.
They're all Scott Boras clients, and Scott Boras holds his guys out till he gets the price that he wants. It's very reminiscent of 5 years ago in 2019. He did the same thing with Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. If you recall, neither one of those players signed until after spring training had started, and also did that with Eric Hosmer and back in 2018 and got the big contract from the Padres. So he's proven in the past, Scott Boras, that the waiting game pays off for his clients. Whether it does this time or not, I don't know. I just know if I were a player and spring training has been underway for about a week now, I would be a little antsy wondering where I'm going to be and what team I'd be playing for this season.
I guess Boras's track record gives him the leeway to tell his guys it's going to be okay. But like you said, John, if you're the player, you're like, dude, I mean, this is a multi-million game of chicken that we're playing right here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's 4 or 5 premier free agents still sitting out there, like guys, at least 3 or 4 who will command 9-figure contracts. And you just wonder what teams have the money left to spend on these guys after spending on others. And I have the feeling, and I don't know who it's going to be, but I have a feeling one of these big name free agents is going to be left holding the bag and signing like a 1-year contract and going back out into free agency next year. And my biggest guess would be Blake Snell, because he has a very, very high price tag, 9 years and $270 million. And I can't imagine any team paying that to a pitcher who is yet to ever pitch in the 8th inning of a big league game.
Wow. That's NL Cy Young Award winner Blake Snell, by the way, right?
Highest walks per nine in the league.
I'd be very careful with Blake Snell. I know he's won 2 Cy Youngs, 1 in each league. But if you're going to sign somebody for 9 years, you want somebody durable. And I mean, this is a guy who pitches 165, 170 innings a year. And I realize there aren't too many 200-inning pitchers anymore. That's becoming more and more a thing of the past. But I certainly would want somebody who occasionally could get me into the 8th or 9th inning. I'm not saying every start, but at least now and again.
It's like I said, it's just a really dangerous game to me. And you know, John, is it a case of Boris fatigue to some degree?
I think it is, and I think if you look at his clients that are still out there, there's question marks around all of them. You know, not only Snell, but you look at Jordan Montgomery, who had a really good year last year with the Cardinals and the Rangers, but he's never been a great pitcher. Now all of a sudden he wants great pitcher money. Matt Chapman the same way, had a great April in Toronto and fell off the cliff for the final 5 months of the season. And I know he's a great defensive third baseman, but if you're going to pay a guy 100 to 150 million, you want more than a 240 batting average and 15 home runs. And I think in Cody Bellinger's case, yeah, he had a good year with the Cubs last year. He was the comeback player of the year. But that doesn't erase the fact that the previous 2 years for the Dodgers, he was god awful. I mean, let's be honest. He hit under 200 both years, didn't show nearly the power he used to show after having the shoulder surgery. And you pay the guy for the one good year and forget about the 2 bad years. And I think if you're asking for $200 million, you need to have more than one good year out of 3 before I'm going to commit $200 million.
Well, you know, to that Boris fatigue comment, but also you look at teams like the Dodgers and the Braves who have largely avoided, if not completely, Scott Boras clients, and their success over the last 5 years, it kind of makes you go, why are we even dealing with this guy?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, there certainly are some teams, Chris, that don't want to deal with him, and he's a unique guy. He's different than all the other agents, and that's why he's the most powerful. He doesn't believe in I guess the word I'm looking for is compromise is the word I'm looking for. He's not much of a compromise guy. It's pretty much, this is what I want and this is what you're going to give me. And it's never, well, let's split the difference, or I'll come down on my price a little if you come up on your price a little. And, you know, some teams he does have a very good relationship with, and other teams, like you said, just won't deal with him. But he, love him or hate him, and I kind of do both. I admire the fact that he gets the kind of money he gets for his clients, and I hate him for the fact that he holds up the entire offseason like he has this year in the spring training. But the guy is very good at what he does, and I will say this, his agents, or his clients, I should say, almost always have complete faith in him and do whatever he tells them. And it's pretty clear he's told all of these guys, just wait and I'll get you the money. Just keep hanging in there.
Yeah. John Perrotto at Heavy.com joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA. John, as I mentioned, a guy with local ties, he's a local native, and a guy that a lot of us are concerned about right now, Tony Kemp, former Oakland Athletics utility guy, testing free agency for the first time. And I know that he had been connected with your Pirates. What do you know about his situation to this point?
He's still sitting on the market, and I'm a little surprised. And I know he had some rough times in Oakland last year, but I mean, he's a guy who's been in the big leagues quite a number of years now. He has a track record, and I think certainly he has proven over his career that he has value as a utility player that can play a lot of different positions. He can hit, he can steal some bases. And, you know, sometimes, unfortunately, in today's game, guys like that who are kind of in the middle that aren't stars but aren't rookies either and make at least a decent amount of money kind of get squeezed out anymore in this game. Teams would rather go with the young guys making the minimum salary. And, you know, I hope Tony Kemp, I don't know him real well, but I've talked to him a couple times over the years and just seems like a wonderfully fabulous guy. I just really enjoyed a couple times I've dealt with him over the years. I hope he's not one of those guys who gets squeezed out, and because I do think he has value, and certainly he could help teams. There are teams out there that could use a Tony Kemp.
John, I know you're based over here on the eastern side of the United States, and so this may or may not be a fair question for you, but wanted to get your thoughts on the Athletics and their issues regarding a home site following this season. From what you've heard, from what you know, that kind of thing, what are your thoughts about what happens for them between Oakland and Las Vegas, or if that's even the case, that they are between Oakland and Las Vegas?
Well, I hate to see any franchise ever move. I hate to see any city lose their team. And you know, I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, and we almost lost the team in '85 and then again in '95. So it's a tough situation. I understand the A's want a new ballpark, and they are one of the few teams that ask for a new ballpark who do need a new ballpark. The Coliseum is a dump, and you know, it's just antiquated, and it's just not very nice, and it's not modern, and it's not convenient for fans to get to. But at the same token, I think that they really could have compromised more with the city of Oakland, and the kind of stadium they were looking for was a little far-fetched for a city like Oakland. It's in the depressed state to pay the kind of money that Oakland wanted, or I should say the A's wanted Oakland to pay. And I feel bad for the fans of Oakland, and you know, and people say, well, they don't go to the games anymore. Well, the A's have put two horrendous teams on the field in back-to-back years, so it's hard to justify paying major league ticket prices to go see a team like that. It looks like they're going to bridge the gap between here, and they're hoping to open the stadium in Vegas in 2028. But there's a whole lot of issues with that as well that would take forever to get into, and it's not a sure thing that stadium is going to be built in Las Vegas, despite the tax money being earmarked for it. But they need somewhere to play. Oakland doesn't want them playing in that ballpark for 3 years as a lame duck, and I certainly don't blame the city at all for that. I mean, you know, they've been jilted by the A's, and they're going to say, but okay, you can stay here 3 more years. It looks like Sacramento's where they're going to end up and playing a AAA ballpark of the Giants affiliate in Sacramento. That seems to be the most likely case, with the backup case being playing in Salt Lake City, with the intent for Salt Lake City to eventually get an expansion team the next time Major League Baseball expands, and this will be a chance for the city for a 3-year period to show that it can support a big league team. Now,
is the Sacramento move more TV revenue generative? Because, I mean, the A's clearly have a AAA ballpark in Las Vegas they could play in if they're going to play in a AAA ballpark, but this allows the NBC affiliate to to continue paying them broadcasting rights, correct?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right, Chris. Okay. And that's the biggest thing driving this Oakland going to play in Sacramento, is they wouldn't get all of their contract they currently have with NBC Sports Bay Area, but staying in that market, in that region, they would still get a large majority of that money if they go to Salt Lake City, if they decide to play in a AAA stadium in Las Vegas, which really doesn't seem, and it surprises me a little bit, it doesn't seem to be an option for them to go to Vegas early. And I've never really heard or read why that is exactly, but certainly if they go to Sacramento, they will get more TV money. If they would go to Salt Lake City, they would have to negotiate a whole new contract for those 3 years between Oakland and Las Vegas.
This is going to continue to be interesting basically until they land somewhere, isn't it?
It really is. And I mean, okay, if they go to Sacramento, all right, maybe at first initially people in Sacramento think, oh, this is cool, we have a big league team in Sacramento. But are you going to get attached to the team? Are you going to become a big A's fan knowing they're only going to be here 3 years and then they're moving to Vegas? I mean, I just wonder what their attendance will be like, because I don't think they're going to have that hardcore group of fans that buy season tickets or go to 30 or 40 games a year. I think it would be a novelty and people will go for a night out, but you're not going to build a fan base in a place where you're not going to be. And I mean, so I just, it's a mess. It really is. And it's going to be very interesting what happens these next 3 years as far as trying to attract any players to come there as free agents. Not that they sign big names anyway. And I mean, it's just going to be hard. You're playing in a minor league stadium for your home games for 3 years. You think you're going to Vegas in 28. You don't know for sure because there's some potential hangups there. And it's kind of hard to believe that they have gotten in this situation, a Major League Baseball team that's going to be this nomadic potentially for the next 3 years.
And it's kind of crazy when you talk about the Sacramento situation in particular, John. I've seen two teams share a ballpark, but it was a AA team and a AAA team, and it was nearly 30 years ago. But Sacramento has a team, the Sacramento River Cats. They are the AAA affiliate of the Giants. So the logistics
How
of
do you
that.
get them to move?
I mean,
You own the Vegas team. You don't own Sacramento.
Yeah, and that's just the logistics of that. And you're going to have ball games every day on that surface, it would feel like.
You know, people asked on the, I guess it was Thursday night, Major League Baseball had its Grapefruit League media night, which all the general managers and managers in the 15 teams that train in Florida all gathered in Tampa for media availability. And Rob Manfred was there, the commissioner, to have a press conference. And he was asked these things, and he really had no answers. He just basically said these things will all work themselves out. So God bless him if he thinks. I don't think it's that simple. I think there's a lot of interesting aspects to this entire athletic situation, and I really have no idea exactly how it's going to play out. I don't think it's going to be as simple. We're going to play in Sacramento for 3 years, and then we're moving into the stadium in Vegas in 28. That may eventually how it all unfolds, but I don't think it's going to be seamless by any means.
Wasn't the biggest news to come out of that Thursday event that Rob Manfred will not seek another term?
Yes, there's been talk, and I guess he had told the owners that, and it never got out publicly. So I guess it wasn't a total shock, but it is somewhat of a surprise because he makes around 16, 17 million a year, and I think it's hard to ever walk away. Not that I've ever walked away from a job where I made 16 million, but I think if I had a job where I made 16 million, it'd be hard to ever walk away from it. But he says he'll be 70 after the 2029 season, and he'll be ready to go. And, to be quite honest, I think it should happen sooner for the good of baseball, because I really don't know, other than I like the rules he instituted last year, but I get the distinct feeling that Rob Manfred, one, isn't always in tune with what's going on in his own sport. And secondly, I'm not so sure he likes baseball that much.
I was going to ask you if there was any way we could speed up his departure.
Well, I'm Italian and I know people, but I don't think we can do that.
Short of that, at least.
Okay.
John Perrotto of Heavy.com joining us here on Main Street Sports today. And
what's the timestamp on that? We may need to keep that for evidence.
In case, if anything, if Rob Manfred comes to an untimely demise, John, we're going to get you off of here before you implicate yourself any further.
I've covered the Pirates for 37 years. I've already done my prison time.
He gets off for time served on that one.
There you go. Case dismissed. John, we appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
All righty. When we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by...
Can we talk running backs coaches?
We can talk running backs coaches. Do you want to do it in the next segment or the following segment, which is where I've got it on the Runner Show?
You've got it or them? You have it. There's a them.
Oh.
So we can talk about it whenever you want to, but there's two.
There's multiple
That's right.
running backs coaches to talk about.
There are. I know, and that's the dumbest thing in the history of America, but there's no off season.
There you go. We're going to talk about running backs coaches
at some point
and other coaches here when we come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA. Stay with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Your favorite wine tasting experience is back. The Hendersonville Rotary Club's Wine and Roses Fundraising Gala. Everything you loved and more. Saturday, March the 2nd. Prepare your taste buds for elegant wines, smooth whiskeys, craft beers, and exceptional food. Browse through the silent auction, all to benefit over 25 local charities, schools, and scholarships. Wine and Roses, Saturday, March the 2nd at Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church, Hendersonville. HendersonvilleRotary.org.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. The Monday Mirror continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Maurice Patton, along with, and there it was.
Yeah. Mess up number one. That's okay.
There it was.
It's not going to be the last time.
We got deeper into the show than I would have anticipated, though.
He did.
Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Now, is it specifically Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, or is it just TOA? Who are we presented by?
Columbia.
TOA Columbia.
Our local TOA. Now, there are plenty of TOAs across the mid-state, and we absolutely endorse them as well, but our friends.
It is TOA of Columbia
That's
that is
right.
bringing you Main Street Sports today.
Zach Farr and the gang.
Okay, all right. I will try to remember to make that distinction going forward. TOA Columbia, specifically. All right, now that we've got the bills paid, as they say. A funny thing happened to Purdue on the way to the number one spot.
Man, this just, it's almost not surprising the way that we've seen interim coaches perform in particularly college basketball over the last couple of years. But
Looking at you, Rodney Terry.
It is just insane how immediate this stuff happens.
I don't know if the kids are reacting to a breath of fresh air or what it is, but as we mentioned last week, Thursday, I guess? No, you were here. Weren't you here when we talked about the Ohio State basketball coaching change?
Yes, it was Wednesday.
Ohio State has a new basketball coach, and said coach led the Buckeyes to a shocking victory over second-ranked Purdue yesterday. Shocking in that Ohio State was 4-10 in Big Ten play going into that ball game? So,
Yeah, they were bad, and clearly, they fired their coach. I don't know what this game means for Ohio State. It certainly doesn't help Purdue. It means that UConn is now the first unanimous number one in the AP poll for the first time this year. But yeah, Ohio State has just kind of been a spoiler this year. And it doesn't get any better than spoiling Purdue. How about that?
It was at Columbus.
So?
And it was a conference game, but still, again, Ohio State improves to 15-11 and 5-10 with the win under interim coach Jake Diebler following, like you said, Wednesday's dismissal of Chris Holtman. Purdue was an 8.5-point favorite.
Only 8.5? Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State fans stormed the court. So I guess
better be careful doing that.
I guess there will be a fine forthcoming from the conference offices for that. But yeah.
The last time they stormed the court, there was an assault.
At Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The Caitlin Clark incident. Because Ohio State's women beat Iowa, and that's when she collided with that fan.
Oh.
So, yeah. Be careful at Ohio State storming the court. That's all I'm saying.
Purdue coach Matt Painter was impressed with how the Buckeyes performed after enduring an emotional week that saw the sacking of their much-loved coach.
Much loved. Interesting.
That's interesting. When you're lauding the winning team in that situation after you've been victimized.
Hey, look, I just continue to be shocked at how these teams and why these teams are able to be. If you are capable of this under an interim coach, it almost makes me think, because there's no way that a new system has been put in.
No.
It almost makes me think that you just weren't trying. And I hate to say that, but nothing has changed. You're still running the same offense. You're still running the same defenses. You might have a little bit of different substitution patterns.
But you're playing the number 2 team in the country. It's almost inexplicable, like you said.
And you were 4-10 going into this in Big Ten play, and your only wins were against teams that are, worse than you. Maryland, etc., Penn State. Rutgers. I mean, it just feels like, and maybe that's why you have to fire the coach. Maybe he doesn't inspire them to play. And if that's the case, I think that's a great reason to fire a coach.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if the kids are not responding to you, then I don't know what more, as an administrator you can do.
No, I think they did the right thing, and it clearly worked. So Congratulations, Ohio State.
Absolutely. Naismith Hall of Fame coach Lefty Driesell.
Not to be confused with country music legend Lefty Frizzell.
No, don't
completely different.
Don't make
things.
that mistake. Don't make that mistake. Lefty Driesell, Charles Driesell, again, is in the Naismith Hall of Fame and was the first coach to win more than 100 games at 4 different schools. Maryland Davidson, James Madison, and Georgia State. That's a heck of a foursome right there. Died Saturday at the age of 92. He was an 2018 inductee into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He is 17th all-time with 786 career victories, and was named Coach of the Year in the conference that each of those 4 schools played in while he was at the helm of those programs. 41 years. Hired at Maryland in '69 and vowed to make it the UCLA of the East, which in 1969, that was nothing to be sneezed at. And
no,
didn't quite get there, but certainly made them a force to be reckoned with during his career, before he was kind of drummed out, unfortunately, after the death of Len Bias back in the mid-'80s. Again, fantastic coaching career, almost 800 career victories. That's solid. He is also credited with the creation of Midnight Madness.
Oh, wow. That is something that has certainly stood the test of time. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's a little silly, but I love that, people want.
I think it's a little silly now, maybe. I think then anything to kind of get your program a little extra attention and that kind of thing. And when you're doing something that nobody else is doing, that would.
It makes sense for certain programs. For Kentucky, it makes sense. It doesn't make sense for others. But there are some programs that, Midnight Madness, like this is what our fans are waiting on all year long, is the start of college basketball season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for some programs it makes sense. For others, not so much. But I love that. Yeah, exactly like you said. It was a unique thing, and it's cool that he has been lauded for the creation of the event.
Absolutely. Baylor retired Brittany Griner's number yesterday.
Yeah. No surprise that Kim Mulkey was not there. Huh?
No surprise.
Well, she didn't want him to do it anyway when she was there.
There's no surprise, and I'm not even sure that there's any disappointment, really. And
I ain't even mad. Don't care.
But there is a level of sadness to me in that the greatest player that you've coached, you can't show some sort of gratitude for what she's meant to your career.
I mean, has Kim Mulkey ever said why? Because I didn't go back and read anything about why she didn't want. I mean, is she just adamantly against all numbers being retired?
No, I think there was a time when it was being discussed retiring her retiring her number, and she had not graduated yet. Supposedly, that was Mulkey's issue.
So she needed to graduate in order to be honored?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that seems silly. I mean, she still played. Who cares? Like that is the most anyway. Okay, that's the most Kim Mulkey thing ever.
The most Kim Mulkey thing and a lot of Kim Mulkey things.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm not necessarily a Kim Mulkey hater, but I mean, I don't really. I think she's a fine women's basketball coach. I think she's a very good women's basketball coach. It shocks me that she's able to, recruit the players she's able to recruit sometimes.
I don't understand that.
But I'm not going to fault a kid for going to play for a national championship winning coach. Just not going to do it. So, I mean, I get it. There are only a handful of teams that are capable of winning national championships, and she's happens to be coaching one of them.
And she has won two
now. So
at two different schools.
Yeah, and so but this just seems like a dumb hill to die on. I don't know, man. It just annoys me when coaches. And I don't. And I'm thinking Rick Pitino in this situation too, after his comments from this weekend, and just coaches in general who feel like they're bigger than.
Well, and something
than the
something that kind of really ran under the radar a few weeks ago was Gino Auriemma.
Yeah, he did the same thing, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. And these coaches feel like I understand that you've been successful, and particularly in women's basketball prior to prior to NIL and transfer portal stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was 3, 4, 5 teams, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you and I know that Gino was able to get Sue Bird and created a dynasty at UConn, and he is a big reason why they have a dynasty. But you're not bigger than the players. You're just not. And clearly, he has not been as successful post, this era of women's college basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been able to get to a point, and then
where he's not just getting every single great player. And at one time, he won a lot of games. What they win 180 something in a row.
It wasn't 180, but it was upwards of 100. Yeah, it was a bunch. Yeah.
And and it was strictly because he was able to. If UConn called, you went.
Yeah.
Because there was nowhere else to go.
As some people say, they weren't recruiting; they were selecting.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you reach that point in your career and then you act like you're the reason why, well, to a degree, yes. But, if Diana Taurasi isn't Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird isn't Sue Bird, then, come on, man. I don't know. I just think that you have to be a little more humble about where the success comes from.
Yep.
And Rick Pitino's comments, man, jeez.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, we don't have time to get into
the most unenjoyable era of my life, I think he said something to that nature.
And somewhere Mike Anderson is laughing.
Yeah.
That's what you get, bro. That's what you get. Yeah.
Anyway.
We're going to continue with our grab bag here in the final segment of the day on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia.
I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros. Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY's gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No. No.
Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's not Reese Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
Because anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's just
you got that right, and
that's bottom
there
line.
could be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball, there's a football, there's a baseball. Maybe it's not a puck. How about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
The grab bag continues here on the final segment of Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia.
Before we get into the grab bag, let's update you on the Daytona 500, which just saw its first accident of the day.
Oh.
Yep, Harrison Burton was hit, spun out, hit someone else, and now there's about 6 cars just in the infield. And there's a lot of debris on the track, so they are...
That happened quick because...
Yes.
At our last break, they had not started yet, right?
Yeah, they're on lap 9 of 200 right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to finish under the lights.
Yeah, no doubt. And so it's Austin Dillon was involved, but it looks like he's okay. So he's out. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because if they're already finding each other on the track, it could be bad news bears.
Hey, you got to be careful, because any rebroadcast, reproduction, without the express written consent,
well, we're not broadcasting but we are giving an account to some degree, but not a whole lot. So anyway, lap 10 of the Daytona 500 now.
Don't get us in trouble, Chris.
I won't.
Okay. You wanted to talk about college football,
running back coaches.
Football assistant coaches, specifically running back coaches. Tennessee appears to be close to hiring one, specifically Darrell Sims, who has been at Cincinnati with Scott Satterfield after previously coaching with Satterfield at Louisville. Cincinnati was number 6 in the country in rushing last year, averaged 217 yards a game. Corey Connor went for 1,047 for the Bearcats last year. The Vols have an opening at the running back position following Jerry Mack's departure last week to take a spot with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's one running backs coach joining the Southeastern Conference. And you have word of one leaving.
One of them, which had already left, has...
Well, he had left the school.
Yeah, he left the SEC and was, I guess, looking for a job. Well, he found one. Carnell Cadillac Williams will be the new running backs coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, where I guess is Josh Jacobs still a running back there? That'd be interesting.
That will be interesting.
Former Alabama running back.
What you gonna tell me about running the ball?
Yeah. So I guess there is that. I don't know if he's still active with the Raiders or not. I believe he is.
I believe he is.
But yeah, so finding his way to. He played 13 games, ran for 805 yards and 6 touchdowns on 233 carries.
Cadillac played with Miami, right?
No, that was Ronnie. Cadillac played for the Bucks. Who else did he play for? He played for St. Louis for a year, but he played mostly for the Bucks.
Okay, my bad.
Ronnie Brown played for the Dolphins, the other part of that two-headed monster from Auburn. So
you remember who the third member of that two-headed monster was?
Dane?
No. Close. Similar body type. Brandon Jacobs.
Brandon Jacobs.
Who eventually transferred to Southern Illinois and
Northern Illinois, right? Pretty sure it was Northern.
I think it was Southern because I think they were 1AA.
Interesting. Could have sworn it was Northern. May have been. I don't know.
Who went on to play for the Giants and was quite successful.
It was Southern Illinois. Who played at Northern Illinois? There was a running back at that time that played there.
Yeah, there was.
And that may be what I'm thinking of.
But he wasn't Brandon Jacobs.
No.
Because
two-time Super Bowl champion, Brandon Jacobs.
Yeah, again with the Giants. 6'4", 265.
Good Lord.
Running back. Yeah.
I'm really mad. I want to remember that kid's name.
From Northern
Michael Turner. Michael the Burner Turner.
There we go. Play for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Notice I didn't say what city.
But it was around that same time period that they were playing. And yeah, dude, Brandon Jacobs at Auburn was good.
Mm-hmm. Just weren't enough carries to go around for those three guys.
It's kind of like being the third guy at Arkansas with D-Mac and
Felix Jones.
And who was it? There was a guy.
He died not long ago.
Oh, yeah. You're exactly right. Oh, man, what was his name?
I can't remember his name.
Anyway.
He coached at Hardin County at one time, though.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, goodness. That's going to bother me.
But yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for both those guys. I think Josh Heupel probably made a home run hire. And you got to be impressed with his ability
to kind of keep his staff at a high level regardless of who comes and goes.
Yep, because Jerry Mack was certainly regarded as one of the best running backs coaches. I mean, Tennessee had been one of the best running football teams in the country. In Josh
I don't know
Heupel's
where
team.
they're ranked this year.
But to be able to go get a guy who led the 6th best rushing attack in the country, I'll take it.
Yep.
I will take it. Peyton Hillis.
Yes. Yeah, I was waiting for us to slow down.
That's it.
Chris, college baseball opened this weekend.
Yeah. Let's
College
talk about
softball was in week 2 this weekend. But I want to mention a couple of guys with local ties to us specifically. KT.
Apo Taco.
Yes, sir. He went 0 for 3, but he scored twice in Friday's 6-2 win over Texas Tech. Had a stolen base. Did not play in the extra innings loss to Oklahoma on Saturday. Yesterday, an 11-5 win over Baylor. Went 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer to left center and scored twice. So 2 for 7 with 3 ribs and a stolen base on the young season and 4 runs in 3 games.
That home run was pretty too. Big, down 2-0. Put Tennessee up 3-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of cruise from there. But.
Well, and Billy Amick, the transfer from Clemson, I think homered Friday and yesterday. So they've got some juice all up and down the lineup, the Vols do. It's going to be fun to watch.
A.J. Causey, SEC co-pitcher of the week, who earned the win in the 6-2 win over Texas Tech on Friday, pitched 4 2/3 scoreless in relief, allowed just 2 hits while striking out 7 against the Red Raiders. He retired 11 of 12 batters he faced over the final 4 innings to lock up a ranked victory to start the season for the Big Orange. A.J. Causey pitched last season for Jacksonville State.
There you go.
Yeah. It's like, all right, crap. Yeah, all right. It goes from It is what it is. Congrats to that kid, though. Jacksonville State took 2 of 3 from Memphis this weekend, so take that.
Meanwhile, our producer, Mark Rogers, tells us there's a bug crawling across the camera lens.
It's not there now, but
yeah,
yes,
it's on the underside of the camera at this point, Mark. You can't see it, obviously, but like I said, it's our pet ladybug.
Yep, it's our pet.
We have, I don't know if it's the same one or not, obviously, but we've had a ladybug joining us.
Basically third member of the crew at this point, for a while.
For a while, yeah. So, it's supposed to be good luck, though, right?
That's what they say.
So, we'll take it. A little closer to home, former Zion Christian, Kavaris played his high school ball at Columbia Academy. Zion Christian graduate Briggs Rudder, 6 of 12 over the weekend for MTSU, which won 2 of 3 from Bowling Green. 2 for 5 with a double and a triple. 3 ribs in Friday's 12-8 win. 3 for 4 with a double and 3 RBI in Saturday's 5-4 victory, and had a sac fly and was 1 for 3, 2 RBI in Sunday's 7-3 loss. So again, Briggs Rudder 6 of 12 with 8 RBI through MTSU's first 3 games. XCA pitcher Bryant Baranek, 2 2/3, 4 runs, none earned, took the loss Sunday. 4 runs, none earned. Yes. Yes.
You ought not get to take the L if that happens.
Well, who are you going to charge it to?
Anybody else? Team
loss.
Like them rebounds? The team rebounds you got?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Come on, man.
That's a tough one.
That ain't right. Trash can juice.
Here we go. But, yeah.
No, I'm mad. That's just annoying.
That is annoying. But at least he's got no ERA.
The man he's 0-1 with a 0.00 ERA.
Yeah.
Stop it. Get some help.
Stop. Get some help. Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Make no sense. I'm so mad right now. Oh, man. Tell you what. I'm looking forward to tonight and tomorrow. District tournaments finishing up, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna run down to Cornersville when we get done here to check out the District 10 1A girls consolations between Santa Fe and Culleoka, and probably stay for the championship game with Richland and the host Lady Bulldogs. So it's getting to be that time.
Yeah, where at this point losing doesn't matter.
Well, it matters, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're going to the region either way, but it's gonna matter.
This is like, what's the show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. Whatever.
Yeah. Tomorrow on Main Street Sports Today, we will be joined by the Blue Raider voice, Chip Walters.
I haven't heard from Matt yet, so.
And we're efforting for a second guest, so come back tomorrow at 2 to the Lee Company Studios here in Columbia. It'll be me and Wade Neely joining you, and we look forward to seeing you here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 2.